What's up, everyone? We're back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy time zone wherever you are. Brady's here with us today. I did put it on Twitter, so everyone should be excited.
How's it
And
going?
we'll have JP joining us soon. I think he's on another call. Something more
Oh yeah.
important than us, apparently.
Well, it is that.
Apparently. So, Brady, how you doing, buddy?
I'm opening up a presentation for you.
You're
I'm doing great.
opening up a presentation.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a PM. I gotta open up a
Yeah,
presentation.
you're a PM. You work at Microsoft. PowerPoint is a must.
You got it.
Is it
PowerPoint
is it
email.
PowerPoint with your name? It's like I am Brady Gaster.
No,
I'll
no,
work for .NET.
I don't do that. I don't do that. um,
Hey, are you doing anything at Build? Are you involved at all this time?
I'm always involved in build.
You're always involved, but
Always involved.
are you delivering a session?
I'm not delivering a session. I have been radio silent for quite some time.
Okay.
And I thought I would pop on your show for a little while because I don't know identity. You know that.
Oh, I know that.
Just in case y'all don't know, Christos is actually my neighbor. I debated putting on my mask and going over there and just showing up. I didn't think his wife would like that very much, so I decided not to do that.
It's
But
fine. It's fine.
yeah.
It's fine.
So you asked me about something right before the show. And
I did.
You did indeed.
I did indeed.
And I know that your audience tends to be pretty advanced. So if you wanted to, I could walk through a little bit of a presentation to kind of talk about that topic. Oh wait, let me delete this. You don't want this here.
No NDA stuff, please.
No
This
idea.
is a public forum. Everything we say should be in the public.
So my question is, you really don't want me to go into like the 100 level? What is SignalR jazz, right? Like,
No, man. But
okay.
I mean, I think a quick intro, because there might be people that have never used it or don't know what it is. It might
Okay.
be quite handy for at least setting up the context, and then we can jump straight into the deep end.
Okay, that's fine. Let me because this is gonna be trippy because I'm gonna have to open up. Okay, let's do. I have to do that thing where I run the PowerPoint presentation, and then I have to pick the monitor that it's on. But if I run the PowerPoint presentation, both monitors are going to be filled, and I won't be able to see anything. So let me see what I can do here. Okay, so let me run the PowerPoint.
You're a pro.
presentation.
You're a pro. You got this.
And then I want to go back to this. Okay, this could work. Okay, so that monitor has the presentation on it. Now, what I want to do is do share screen.
Yes.
Hopefully, it will give me the option. We don't want to go into what's that movie called with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he goes into the dream?
Oh, Inception.
Inception.
Yes.
We don't
I
want
can
to do
see your.
Inception.
I can see your slides.
Okay,
What is SignalR, right?
Yeah,
You want me
perfect.
to share it?
Yeah, I'm ready. We can do
Let's
this.
do this.
All right. So quick little. So Christos and I are friends. So he's going to be a little more rude to me than he is to other guests. He's just going to like wave his arms and tell me to stop
I would
talking.
never.
I guess I can see the chat window, huh? Like I've never been on.
Yeah, yeah, and I can say it too. So if there are any questions, I'll make sure I can push them.
I have to say, man, your format's really jazzy. I'm impressed. This is great. I think every time I see the show, things get a little bit better. Cool.
I am a professional, after all.
Um,
Not really. We're still clutching at straws and trying to make it happen, but the tools make us look smooth and better. There you go.
That's good.
So
I
about
love the
tooling.
background, too. And I love how my purple goes with your purple. That's good.
Yes.
Good. They're purple. And I got purple lights behind me. Can't really see that one. So here's the deal. So a couple years back, around the time I came to Microsoft, David Fowler, fantastic architect for .NET Core, and Damien Edwards, fantastic architect for everything, were in the process of coming up with this concept of SignalR, which is basically doing real time for the web. At that point in time, like WebSockets weren't very ubiquitous, and as I kind of talked about in a couple of other shows over the last few weeks, Fowler and Damien kind of knew that WebSockets would not be the last real-time tech. So what they wanted to do was the chat's coming in. I gotta hide the chat. It's going to distract me. What they wanted to do was to create an abstraction. Because they knew that like now everybody supported WebSockets. In 2021, WebSockets is a bit more ubiquitous. But hey, let's talk about history for just 1 second. So essentially what they did with SignalR was they wanted to create, like I said, an abstraction so that things would, always work in real time. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to say, we're going to try WebSockets first. This is a great question in the thing. How is SignalR different than WebSockets? I can kind of summarize that pretty quickly by showing this kind of set of slides here.
Yep.
WebSockets is essentially your connection. And you might have a LAN polling connection, you might have an SSE connection. Ideally, you have WebSockets because that's true real time. Today is trash day in me and Christos's neighborhood. It'll go away in a minute, so I apologize. So let's say you don't have WebSockets and you don't have service and events. You kind of have to do what you used to do back in the old days, which is basically make a request, get a response from the server, and make another request. And you would basically either do like a meta equiv refresh if you like kind of know that old way of doing things, or you'd have some sort of JavaScript polling mechanism that would just continually go back and forth. That's kind of the third way of backing off. The second way is server sent events. And the server sent events, what will happen is the client will make a request, or it'll basically say, I want a new event source. And the server goes, cool, I'm going to create events. And each time I fire an event, I'm going to send back a message to you. Now, this is the default way that you would be able to do SignalR if you're running, let's say, in Azure Web Apps, because WebSockets is turned off by default, but you can go in and you can turn it on.
Yep.
I talked about that in the Web Wednesday show on Web Wednesday. So if you want to go back and take a look at that with Christopher, feel free.
Nice.
Now, in a perfect world, what ends up happening is the SignalR client makes a request. We call it a negotiation request, basically saying, do you support WebSockets? What do you support? And if the client and the server both support WebSockets, what ends up happening is the client says, well, I want you to upgrade this connection to a WebSocket. The server goes, okay, we're going to switch protocols to WebSockets. And now, guess what? We're partying in real time. Mm-hmm. So I don't have the shirt on today. Sorry, Isaac. But I have a T-shirt that has this on it, thanks to Isaac's wife. So
there's a T-shirt.
Yeah, yep. But what they really wanted to do was to make it dirt simple for somebody to kind of do like pub sub message-based programming. Mm-hmm. And like I said, they knew that, back in the day, 2011, 2012, WebSockets weren't very ubiquitous. Yep. They also kind of made the assumption there will be something else, gRPC or something else later on down the road that we can't predict yet.
Right.
Or that David already knows about, hasn't told anybody. But this is kind of the deal. Mm-hmm. Now, really quickly, one of the things that I also like to talk about when I talk about SignalR, and we'll get into the code. You can see the code here a little bit. This is not the code you want to look at, though.
Can you zoom in? I would say 2 clicks.
Is that better?
Let me see.
I just went back to the slides.
You went back to slides.
Yeah, awesome. Back to the slides. So, because I wasn't done with the slide yet. So one thing I want to talk about that I just want to bring this up. One of the questions was, what's the difference between WebSockets and SignalR? Mm-hmm. WebSockets is a actual protocol. So under .NET Core, when we redid SignalR, we actually ended up creating a brand new protocol that just runs over WebSockets.
Nice.
There are a lot of other WebSocket protocols. Christos can kind of feel this other answer to a different question he asked me earlier over text. It's going to come here. We had a lot of customers who said, hey, we really like the idea of writing our own protocol the way you did, or we already have a protocol like you did that runs over WebSockets, because WebSockets is not a protocol, it's a transport. Mm-hmm. Remember that. So what they wanted to do was to basically run their native WebSocket stuff on top of Azure SignalR service. And they didn't want to have to use a SignalR client. So David Fowler, pardon me, and the Azure SignalR service team worked together, and they came up with, Christos, the Azure
SignalR service?
Pub Sub service. So the idea
I didn't know you were going to drop that here.
So the Azure...
You blindsided me.
I know I did. So the Azure Pub Sub service is essentially a new service that I don't want to say just runs WebSockets, but you could theoretically run SignalR over it because it's WebSocket transport. But you could basically use WebSockets like without using SignalR when it comes to the Azure Pub Sub service. So I do want to call that out. The other thing I want to call out is they are different services.
It is
very, very closely related services, but that's that.
So, hey, color me stupid here, but this is not a competing kind of service. We have Service Bus, Event Grid, SignalR service, and the pop-up service now. So how are people meant to choose, considering that they more or less do similar work?
Yeah, they do. That's a great question. So let me try. Oh, thank you. Let me try to answer that question. Essentially, we used to have a colleague here at Microsoft. He's moved on to other things now. A gentleman by the name of Dan Rossanova. And
Dan,
Dan,
I miss Dan, man, and his
I do too.
fancy suits.
Yeah, guy's awesome. We had a conversation, I believe, in Finland at one point. Igloo Conf. Thank y'all for having cyber. I basically asked him. I said, "Hey, you're like a messaging person. Like, what do
Yeah.
you think of SignalR?" And he was like, "Glad you asked." He goes, "I've always sort of perceived SignalR as a last mile technology." Okay.
Right.
And I said,
Interesting.
"What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, let's say you've got something like Service Bus, or as somebody mentioned in the chat here, Bruce mentioned Event Grid.
Yep.
So those are really your cloud, highfalutin messaging services. Those are kind of, if you can imagine, like an iceberg metaphor. They're kind of under the water.
Yep.
Now, if you want to start bubbling messages up to the client, you use SignalR. Okay. And I just want to point this out right here on my screen. It's
Yep.
kind of a nice segue into this. SignalR is as durable as is the connection. So what happens when the connection breaks?
Yes, what happens?
SignalR doesn't work. So I just want to point that out. But we knew that that would be a problem for folks because people drive into tunnels all the time. You never know what's going to happen. So what we did was we added this handy method right here, I believe in the 3.0 wave, might have been in 3.0, called with automatic reconnect. But we didn't stop there. We went ahead and added 2 additional methods for you, on reconnecting and on reconnected. And what you can use those for is to essentially change your UI so that it can kind of respond to what's going on, in your application. Like if I go into a tunnel and for whatever reason I disconnect because I'm in a tunnel and I can't hear you talking and I can't chat and whatever else, I definitely can't post TikTok videos. What I want to do is I want to tell the client, hey, wait until you come out of the tunnel, wait until you've got a connection again. So I could use the on reconnecting, because what it's going to do is it's going to ping over and over and over again. And Web Wednesday the other day, and I can share some links with you if you'd like to post them in the chat. I've got kind of a move ship demo where you kind of move a ship around the screen, inspired by Damien's old move shape demo.
What?
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you wanted to take a look at that, we could pull that up in here. But we want to get into the code and like talk about other stuff.
Oh yeah, we'll get in the code, but we'll share the links on the YouTube video. You'll find them right below us. So if you're curious about learning, SignalR and how it works, or seeing the demos, then you also did the rock paper scissors demo with Hansman last year, right?
Yes, we did. That was fun. We worked with Isaac on the rock paper scissors demo. That was pretty fun. So
that was his baby, right?
Yeah, that's a long story. So the gentleman that hired me to Microsoft worked on something way back in like 2008, 2009.
Right.
Or not that hired me, that referred me. Brian Hitney, wonderful guy in North Carolina. He said he basically worked on a thing called Rock Paper Azure. And it was back in the days of like worker roles and web roles. And he and his colleagues kind of built something out where they could play rock, paper, scissors. And I was really inspired by that idea. So later on, when we started doing, the Ignite stuff, that's when I started thinking we should do like a rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. Or I think I said rock, paper, scissors was like microservices that are playing against each other inside of Kubernetes. And of course, Hanselman was like, well, what about lizard, Spock? So, it goes from there. So that was one of the ideas that came up when we kind of started planning that demo. It ended up pretty well.
Nice.
Bruce is asking a question. Bruce's questions are always great. I want to add SignalR to my app to monitor in my front end the real-time data from my IoT devices in IoT Hub. You could totally do that. What you would do there is, I imagine you would have something like this, just off the top of my head. You're talking about Event Grid. Does an Event Grid have some sort of a trigger for functions? I think it does, right?
Yes, it does. But I think the best way, And then what? You're gonna use functions to publish?
Right. Yeah. So I would basically use an event grid to trigger a function, and then I would use Anthony Chu's Azure SignalR service bindings to pop a message back up. I think that as a trigger. Yeah. Okay. As long as you can trigger a function, you can pop a message onto a Azure SignalR service endpoint hub using the Azure SignalR service bindings functions for SignalR.
Yeah, so the only question there would be whether you want to aggregate and maybe burst the data rather than streaming in a real time.
Right.
So maybe you want to do it every minute or every 30 seconds. And you also might want to store the data, because I think if you do it that way, everything will be transient, right? It comes from your IoT device to the hub and then straight into your front end.
Yep.
That might be a very valid scenario, but if you need to store the data, you need to go through some storage device, and therefore it might change the architecture, but it's all doable, right? There are different ways to skin the same cat.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's the right expression to use on the stream, but
okay.
it sounds horrid, by the way. Yeah, there's different ways to solve the problem.
I completely agree. The other thing is, I believe when the Azure SignalR service implemented essentially the equivalent of send. So SignalR has kind of two things, and it's literally this simple. You can do send, so which is basically from the server to the client. I could send a message or send an event, if you will, to the clients. And then in the client code, you've literally got, my connection.on. And the on will actually handle that event. So that's like kind of when you would do your actual handlers. I think we'll have time to get into that today. But Christos hasn't even heard what I want to do today, so it might be too much of a curveball. And if it is too much of a curveball, then we're going to do a second show, which you never thought you'd hear me say, right?
Whoa, wait a minute. Is that a commitment on there? I love it.
That's good. Because this is actually a project I've been wanting to work on with my boy Glenn.
There you go.
Yeah. So
BSD guy says, let's win this. You're absolutely right, my friend.
Yeah.
And I think we covered most of the questions before we move into code. Sahil says, apart from writing a chat-based web apps, I know. We've been overdoing it with web chats and it's like a stock market tickers, but SignalR has some really good scenarios. Can I tell a story about what we build with SignalR?
You can totally do that. And I also want to say, like, the internet can back me up on this. This is the first time you've ever seen Brady Gaster do a chat demo using SignalR. But it's going to be the coolest chat demo ever. Not cooler than Jabber, but pretty cool.
It is. I mean, everything you do is cool, man. So not saying there. But back in the day, 2014, I worked for a major bank. And what they wanted to do was have the ability for customers to actually sign into their account. So when they would call the customer service, rather than them saying, my first and second digit of my password is blah, and then answer some other questions from the customer service representative, they wanted to use their voice data to actually do a biometric authentication and verification, and then let the customer interact with the customer service representative without providing any other information. And therefore, we had an API that would take voice data from the voice over IP telephony system that we had, which was Cisco. We would take a sample, would push it into the API. We would do some training to begin with. And then subsequent calls would allow you to call, say a couple of phrases, and then the biometric service would authenticate you. Now, the system was using a WPF cell to run the customer service program. And in there, we use SignalR to do the following. The customer would call, we would send the data out, we would establish a SignalR session. It would send the data out to the third-party API. The API would process the data and send the message back. And at that point, SignalR would publish the result. So it would say in the front end, you would see a success or failure on the authentication. And that was it with SignalR. Which was impressive, right? The way we did it, we had we had authentication, we had client IDs that we had to pass in to make sure that the data that came matched the right person. It was a very interesting project, and we did it all with .NET 4, I think.
Oh, cool.
Not even 4.5 or 4.7, and SignalR 1 point something, which had bugs. And then when I reached out to the team, they said, well, you need to upgrade to 2.0. I was like, yeah, we can't do that because we're stuck in specific version of .NET. So even though with all these limitations, SignalR was a stellar service to use back then. And there was no Azure internally. So there are some really good use cases that you can build there, not just chat apps.
I thought you were going to talk about something different, and I just wanted to say I went over and I grabbed a stack of these little things off my shelf over there. You'll never believe what was on top of the stack.
Okay.
The IoT hub magnet.
Oh, dude! I forgot about that project.
These are the last ones. They're the very last ones left.
No, they're not the last ones. Check this out.
You still got them.
I still got them.
I think some people on the internet are gonna want to get you to auction those off, dude.
Dude, that was the most crazy project we ever worked with. I mean,
So
for me anyway. But
yeah, so
that's
that
for
was a,
another
fun.
day.
Yeah,
That's
we can talk about that on the show too. Okay, so let me blow your mind with what I wanted to do here. And I texted Christos last night and I asked him one question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way he answered that question set us up for success. But who knows? Like
Right,
if not,
you'll need to zoom in because I'm old and my eyes are going.
oh, it's okay. Well, I increased the font. So what you'll see here is that I've got a tiny little solution, .NET
Mm-hmm.
Chat. Okay, and that's named that way for a particular reason because this right here is going to be a .NET global tool that I'm going to put out. That's literally going to be a chat app that you could run almost the same way you run like the Entity Framework command line tools or .NET Run. It'll
Yeah.
be .NET Chat.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to do that just to be silly. One thing I am going to use in this that I do want to kind of point out because it's just so darn awesome is I am, let me pull this over into my browser so you can see it. I am going to use this fantastic library called Spectre Console.
Okay.
Because my boy Glenn Condren, my boss, and I have been wanting to kind of tinker around with the idea of creating a text-based like moo or a mud or like a chat.
Right.
If you don't know what those are, then you're not our age. I'm sorry, but it's essentially like a text-based chat, if you will. Now we've got a project out there called .NET Moo, and we're going to be using some other tech for it that we're just kind of tinkering around with. I was learning Orleans, so we're going to use Microsoft Orleans as like some of the stuff. We'll definitely use SignalR to bubble stuff up. But if you can kind of look at this table, is that zoomed in far enough, boss?
You might want to zoom in a little bit more.
Okay. Zoom in.
Yeah.
So this is essentially Spectre Console. It's a NuGet package that I've already put into my command line project.
Right.
It's open source. You can grab it, and it gives you the ability to do like command line experiences like this, which is pretty cool. So you can build tables at the command line, and I haven't implemented all that stuff yet. Just started the project yesterday because I realized there's a goal that I have for the stuff that I wanted you to help me with today. And then basically you can do all kinds of other things. Now they've got some really great examples out there. If I were to go to examples, I don't know if they've got a screenshot of them. No, they don't have a screenshot of it. My bad. Figlet. So you could actually you can use Figlet fonts if you want to, but the idea is like if you take a look at this, so just do a Google search for Spectre Console, and you can literally do interfaces like this on a .NET command line, which
it's amazing, right?
Pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So, yep. So here we go. Here, what I can do now is I can show you that I've got this chat console app. And really what I'm doing here is it's just a main method, and I'm kind of following along with some other, .NET tools that I've seen out there in the past. Got my main method, and then what I do is I'm going to grab a command from the customer or from the user, and I'm going to handle the input. And you see here that I've got a bunch of different command classes that happen to live right over here. So in this one, we're actually going to do a connection. Let me zoom in like using this style as well. And I'll shrink my font back. Sorry. I do not have a shortcut key the way you awesome presenters do.
It's fine. Lila Koji is here. Lila, thanks for joining us. She's on the Microsoft Developer Channel.
Oh, cool.
And Blazer Mr. Magoo says Microsoft will rename SignalR to .NET WoWie.
.NET what?
WoWie, I think it's a reference to what's his name? What's his name? I can't remember now. Borat.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
That's funny.
Probably because it's so awesome, right?
That's funny. So for those of you that have never seen like kind of how to wire up a SignalR thing, what we call a SignalR hub. So what I'll show you is this second project here. This is my chat web. So this is actually the web application to which our client will connect. And this is totally, I'm getting all this set up so Christos can know what I'm going to need his help with. And we might not get very far today, but let's see how we do. So here's the chat hub, and the way you would create a hub in SignalR is you basically create a new class, and you inherit from hub. We also have hub of T. So hub of T. So you can actually give it some sort of an interface that kind of defines the interface of its clients. So you get a little bit more strong typing, but not the kind of strong typing. Yes, SignalR is awesome. Thank you for that. And David, thanks you, and the rest of the team, thanks you. But what I can do here is inside of any method that I would call on my server side hub. So this would be a client calling the send message method on my hub.
Right.
And what's going to end up happening is SignalR is going to turn around and say clients.all.send async, which is the SignalR hub sending a message to the clients. So I could invoke a message on the hub, or the hub can fire an event that my clients can actually handle. And I'm trying to think of anything else that I would want to put. I don't think there's anything else I want to put on here. We'll just leave it for now. What I'm wondering is, can I get myself a quick? I can't get the overrides. So I could probably hack that up later. But this is essentially my server side stuff. And one thing to point out, and I talked about this a lot on Web Wednesday this week with Christopher. If I open up Startup CS in my web project, there's two things you have to do, just like everything else with SignalR. You got to, with ASP.NET Core, we give you this awesome set of methods where these extension methods where you can basically dial in all the different features of ASP.NET Core. Right here, you'll see that I'm doing add SignalR, which basically tells my app we're going to be doing. Oh, is that better? We're going to be adding SignalR to the actual application. And then down here below, and this is the point that I always forget, or I used to always forget in the old days. I do endpoints.map_hub, and then I basically provide the type of the hub that I've got, and that is this hub over here. And all that does is that says this endpoint is what a SignalR client would connect to.
Right.
All right. And the way that works, let me see my connect command over here, which is the thing you would call in the .NET chat, global tool.
Yep.
If you wanted to actually make a connection, you can see I've got just a dummy class, just making it static for now. We can optimize it later and set in call number 2. But you see I've got chat client, which I can just go to definition. And really all I'm doing at this point is I've got a static instance of itself. Whenever I make a reference to it, I'm going to go ahead and new it up. And then I've got a method that hangs off called connect. And essentially what I do here is I new up a hub connection builder, a SignalR hub connection builder. I give it a URL. In this case, we're going to go directly to localhost. And then I just call build. And then I would call start async. And it's going to reach out and make a connection to that SignalR hub.
Can you have multiple URLs between local and production?
I would make that configurable. This is just me getting started.
Okay.
This is just me getting started. But yes, I would definitely have a different URL.
Sure.
But here's where we are today. Okay.
Yeah.
What I need to do is inside of this method right here, I would presume that I'm going to need to do, actually, it would probably be in this method inside of my chat client. But I presume that in here, somewhere in this area, I'm going to want to provide some sort of an authentication token.
Yes.
To my SignalR connection. And this is the challenge. I wanted to be able to, and I do a lot of stuff with SignalR kind of in a back-end type scenarios. I tend to use more things like Event Grid or Leans to do like server-side messaging. But when it comes to bubbling things up to a client, that's when I would use SignalR. But you want to make sure that those connections are secure. SignalR supports all the same kind of credentials and auth of both types, authentication and authorization, that ASP.NET Core supports. So at this point, I would want to go ahead and start writing some auth code. And I don't even know how to get started. If you want, I could commit this and we could switch to your screen. But at this point, what I want to do is wire this up so that ideally, if I go here to...
Does this run? We haven't tested it yet. I mean, I have no doubt in your skills and it runs. Just make sure that it runs before you commit so we can start messing with the code.
Well, so what I'll do here is do cd source and we'll do chat. And I would do .NET run. And eventually, once you install the tool using NuGet, you'll basically type .NET chat and it'll get started. But what I want to do is say .NET run. I probably ought to go to the web project first. So
yes.
Let me do this. Open an integrated terminal. So right here, I'll say .NET run. That will start our web project.
Hey, did you hear the new VS Code? The new VS Code will support the tabbed terminals, so you'll be able to have multiple. Yes, I know.
Oh, it's gonna make me so happy.
Go download the latest.
I think it didn't it download. Doesn't it happen automatically?
It should be. I don't know if it's the preview one, right? You know, I don't know if it's the preview bits that have the VS Code preview.
Internals. Okay.
Yes, the internal version.
So here
I was reading about that the other day. I was like, yes, that's exciting.
That's exciting. I don't have that, but I'll have to try the insiders and see if I've got it over there. So this terminal that I just started up, this .NET is essentially my web project running here on localhost. This would be my client where I want to talk to.
Yep.
At this point, I would do .NET run on my client, and it'll just start up like a normal, now I'm in a CLI app, and I can just say, connect.
Yep.
Connection. I'm connected. If I were to flip back over here, if I had the on connected event handler, I could probably log a message here. I just haven't added that code, but you can see that's essentially it. Like I just reached out and made a connection back to that thing. So what I'll do now is I'll just kill this. I'm gonna exit out of this. Kill this. Exit out of there. And now what I want to do is go up here and just say off to the races. That, make sure I'm on main. I am indeed on main. Push.
Bruce Lane says, so simple, I want it. BSD guy says, just remember your RAM usage will increase, your memory usage will increase as more and more clients connect to the hub.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. There's no information for the current branch. What are you talking about here? What's going on? That's weird. What's going on with my get here? Push. Yes. Why is it doing that?
What did it say? Cannot connect to the remote?
Just it's behind the counterpart. Integrate the remote changes. So git pull. Okay.
You can do a git pull, or you can do a git push force, like a boss.
I know.
Fun times.
I don't even know what that is.
Git push force.
What changed? Oh, DS Store. I deleted DS Store, Donnie.
Ah.
All right. That's silly. Push main. And there we go. It's a demo.
Perfect.
Okay, now if you go to my GitHub, Christos, you'll see, I guess you can control your own sharing. So I'll let you hit stop sharing, or do you want
to? No, I wanted you to drive this one. So you will be building it and I will be teaching you.
Groovy. Let's do it.
Yes. So there are two things that we need to do. One is to create an app registration for your API or your web app, more or less. So it can actually authenticate against the Azure AD. No, it won't authenticate. It will validate the incoming tokens before it allows you to connect the hub. And then the second one is to create a client app registration inside Azure AD that we will use to authenticate users and then acquire a token for your hub.
Now, I've got my AAD portal open. Should I drag that over and we'll do this together, or what?
Yes, please.
So here we go.
And then we'll need to do some code changes, obviously, to add the authentication and token validation components, but that's it. So if you go to your, is that your Azure Active Directory? No, it's not. Is it? Yeah, it is. I'm just buying. Okay, so you need to go into, you need to maximize that page, and then you need to zoom in as well. Thank you.
No problem.
And zoom in quite a bit. And in there, we just need to go into your app registrations.
So app registrations right here.
Yes.
Cool. There we are.
And in there, we need to do a new registration and call it something like a SignalR hub.
I'll call it .NET chat. Okay.
Service. Yep.
Service.
Yes. Accounts in this organization on directory only, assuming that we're only signing in users in this Azure AD tenant. And then just click register below.
Wouldn't we want to do multi-tenant so we could log in with like other people's tenants? Like anybody with a Microsoft account?
We could do that if you want to.
Let's do that.
Okay. Jumping into multi-tenancy straight away. Love it.
What?
No, I'm okay with that. Just click on that and then hit register at the bottom.
I want to do this?
No. Because this is for your service, right? So the service is not going to acquire tokens, so you don't need that, right? It's only going to use this app registration to validate the incoming tokens. It's not going to acquire any tokens for anything else. So now that we have this one, we'll do that later. Go into the API permissions.
Cool.
It's fine.
Dang.
Oh, you came out. Okay. API permissions.
Right here?
Yes. And then in there, you want to add the permission. Sorry, expose an API. Damn, I need more coffee this morning. It's expose API. Sorry, bud.
Where's this? Oh, right here.
Just below that. Yeah. So what we're doing here is we're actually creating an API permission that the clients will need to use to get the access token. And we'll say, I want an access token with this scope so I can go and speak. And now you can at this point, you can say, you know what, you can add different permissions and different permission levels so the clients may have different kind of functionality. But anyway, let's do one default. Let's say add the scope at the very top. It will ask you to set an application ID URI. Just leave the default. You can always rename that if you want at a later time. And then here you want to provide a scope. Let's say, send chat or something, whatever you want to call this at the scope name.
It's like here. Let's go.
Send message.
Yeah, send message.
Send chat.
Let's say chat.
Chat, yeah. And then admins and users. Then you want to do admin consent, display name. Just put something as a message like ability to chat with Hub. And I would copy paste that all over the next 3 text boxes.
Do you have a copy button?
Yeah, I know. It would be nice. But then again, technically you should not have the same message for user and admin consents, right?
Okay. So I would do that and hit add scope?
You need, yeah.
Okay. And we want to enable that scope, obviously.
Yeah, I want to enable the scope.
Cool.
All good. So technically this is all we need from an API perspective, right? So if we go back into the overview here, just the overview.
Okay. Right here?
Yeah. We'll need the values from here, but now before we copy any values, we need to go back into our web app and add a couple of things.
Okay.
So first you need to go into your NuGet, whether you want to use the command line or whether you want to use edit the CS project file directly. It's totally up to you how you want to add your package, but we need to add the Microsoft.identity.web NuGet package.
Microsoft, okay, .NET, add
package. Yep.
I always get the web and identity.
So it's Microsoft.identity.client for the console and mobile and whatever, and .web is for the web apps. So
no way, cool. I didn't know that.
Consistent naming, yeah. Somehow we managed to keep it consistent, which is great.
Did you notice how I bit my tongue there?
What happened there? Oh no! You don't need the client. What are you doing? So where are you installing this one?
The client, the chat app.
Oh, the client. Okay, so you're doing that in the client. Okay.
And I just
like, what is he doing? What is he doing there?
So that's one. So that's the client, and that's the web.
Yes.
Cool. Groovy. So now what I would do to show kind of what we've done here is I open up the web projects CS Proj. There's Mu. And then if I were to open up the chat CS Proj, there is Mick. Mu and Mick. I shot that anyway.
Sweet.
Cool. I wonder if you should have called it Microsoft Identity.web.client.
I don't know. Oh, you mean for the client and the service? But then again, it's the same library for both the API and the web app, right? So it doesn't change as much.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that we have that one, we need to add some things in the app settings.
Okay.
And there's some default values there.
For the web?
For the web, yes.
Okay, cool.
Terminal. Let me just grab them for you. Because I have a ton of projects that use that. So just before login, add an Azure AD root
Azure AD.
Yeah.
So like capitalization matter. Oh, come on, hang on. It's gonna mess with me. So I got to do this.
Oh.
Format first. Azure AD.
Yeah. CD. Trying to find a good
Apologize
one.
for my loud mechanical keyboard.
No, I love it.
How's your 5K day going?
Awful. Don't. Why did you expose me now? I haven't done anything.
You got to get in the program, dude.
I know. I need to get the program. I need to get with the program. That's not the one.
I think I've already run 30 miles since May started.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
3.5 a day.
Nice.
Yeah, the morning walk yesterday, I couldn't quite make the K.
Okay.
I think I did like 3:04.
Oh.
So, yeah.
CD. Right. I think I found one. Good example here. So what you need is.
I like the ghost, Janiski.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I'll put it on the private chat on Restream, so you should be able to get it from there.
Or
obviously, you'll need to change the values.
So I get to share everybody. I get to share your values with everybody.
I mean, it's fine. I did a nice TikTok video where I committed my secret, which was fun.
It looks
making fun of myself.
Do I need? It looks like it cut off. I'll see it.
Oh, did it?
Callback path, and it's done.
Okay, so you need instance. That will be the first value.
And I need to lowercase this guy.
Yes.
Okay. I'll just look at yours. I won't.
Yeah, the callback path, you don't need it because it's an API, right?
Yep. This would be my tenant ID, I presume, right?
The instance, no, it will be https login.microsoftonline.com. So that's the right value there.
ACS login. Oh. Okay. Oh. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I need that.
Look at that.
Domain. Chris, that's mine.
Yeah, you need domain.
And that would be my tenant name.
Yes.
Which is where's that? This guy? No.
It will be if you go into the overview of your so one level up. If you go to Microsoft, one level up. Yeah. Go to overview. Scroll up on your tab. Yeah, okay. Overview.
There we go.
And then you should get your instance name from there. You see primary domain, and then it says Brady Test S Microsoft. That's the one.
Regret making that every day.
Yeah.
I can't escape it now.
So you need the client ID and you need tenant ID, and that's you.
But basically, I should delete this registration after the show. That's what you're saying.
Well, there'll be no secrets, so you don't have to worry about it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Although it's a multi-tenanted app now, so anybody can, if they have the client information, they will be able to sign in and do stuff. So tenant ID will be if you go back into your app registration, because we'll need that for the. Okay, you got that one, and then finally client ID, which you need to get from your
app registration.
Yeah, that's fine. App registration. Oh, there you go. You're good.
Oh my god.
You were at the right point and then you left. So go back to your app registrations and click on your app registration.
Yeah.
And select the client ID, which is the second value.
Okay. And now I need client ID.
Yes, you do.
As everybody can tell, this is not something that I typically do.
Hey. Don't be strict on yourself.
And Blow Dart likes to tease me for it.
So technically, that's all you need from a configuration perspective.
Cool.
Now we need to go back into so save this one and move into your startup.cs.
Startup.cs.
Startup.cs. Okay. Yes.
Cool.
And now in here, inside your configure services,
so
at the very top, you can say services.
Before we go on,
Uh-huh.
So you see here that we've got the idea of like you've probably been hearing about this thing called minimal APIs that Maria and Stephen have been working on. Stefan have been working on.
Okay.
That the team have been working on. It's going to be a lot less stuff. I'll probably want to talk to you eventually about the idea of maybe using identity with some of their stuff, the new minimal APIs. I think that'd be interesting because people are going to want to make their minimal APIs secure as well. So we should probably get you in touch with Stefan and Maria and maybe have them on the show to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to see minimal APIs. I mean, the exciting stuff that I've seen David Fuller working on, and top level statements, and 5 lines to get your API going. It's awesome. So I put it on the private side, but if you want to do it, it's like add Microsoft Identity Web. Microsoft. It's a mouthful. Microsoft Identity Web API Authentication. And you need to pass the default configuration here. Oh, look at that. IntelliSense giving you the right things. So configuration, and you need to, it's already injected. So perfect, that's it. So technically, there's one more line. So I lied. Inside the configure, you need to add no, that's fine. Just close it there. Perfect. Inside configure, you need to add authentication.
Oh.
Just above the app use authentication.
Like here?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I don't need to do that. Oh, come on. There.
That's it. Now inside your hub, is there a controller for that? Yeah, inside the hub, I assume that you can put an attribute at the class to say authorize.
Yep.
And that means that now inside send message, now you need to do HTTP context on the first line. Just do a carriage return after 11.
How do I need to do that?
Yeah. So HTTP context. Verify user has.
What?
Let me see. Yeah. It says type verify user has. Does IntelliSense come up? If not, I will need to go and find what exactly the writing is.
No.
Verify user has. It's okay. I'll find it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Verify user has any accepted scope. Now, IntelliSense should prompt you for the Microsoft Identity.web. Interesting.
Don't you want? And somebody asked in the conversation, is it this in the chat? Thank you. Ironic. This dot context. No, this dot context in a SignalR hub is the hub caller context. So it's not just the HTTP context, but what I don't think we dangle HTTP context off of that, but
this dot context.
No, we don't. That's different.
So is the HTTP context here different to the standard?
It's the same.
Well, it's the same, right? So verify user has any accepted scope, and then open bracket. You're definitely, I think you're missing the. Just add the using at the top. It might take a while for. So the using should be Microsoft.identity.web.resource. And then in the verify user has any accepted scope, we need to pass the scope that we had before. So open, close,
Wait a minute.
quotes.
I don't know if I have the context yet. So let's do this.
I
don't think I have that yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Which is a little odd. I need to think about that.
Is the hub deriving from controller?
No.
Oh, can we do? Can you inject it in the controller? Can you inject it in the constructor? Can you have a constructor in the chat hub?
Yeah, but
no,
it's not really.
Oh,
that's weird. That's very, very strange.
So I think in the authorize, you can also do required scope. You know what? So under authorize, just don't work on just ignore the HTTP context.
Yeah, that's
Remove the HTTP context. And then just below authorize, below authorize, create a new attribute called required scope. And then in there, just it was chat, right?
Right.
Okay. Is this throwing up any weird build errors? No, it seems to be okay. So maybe that's why we do it.
Let me do something real quick. I want to back up and make sure that we're building it. Because now we're just building the
web.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's the front end. What I want to do is back up and see if we can build the back end. Close that. Control J. CD source web. Cool. There we go. That doesn't look bad, Chris has.
It's looking good.
It's okay.
Looking good. So now we need to go and create a client app registration inside our Azure AD. So the API is done, or the SignalR API.
You're kidding? That's it?
That's it.
All right. Okay. Let me wait.
I'm not kidding.
I don't want to commit this though.
I am dead serious.
This would be
dead
stuff
serious.
I don't want to commit, right?
Yeah, so it seems that the interesting that the HTTP context inside the hub is very different to.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so any information you have in this configuration is not sensitive, so it's not a secret or something that you need to worry about. But yeah, hopefully the.
Here, I'll do all but that.
This exactly, Curious Drive. This stream is dead serious. We're not messing around. I'm just kidding, obviously.
Christos.
Christos messed up my code. Christos messed up my code.
It would be the first time. Just kidding. So now I want to go into the client, which is our little console app I got here.
Yeah, I mean, we probably need to do the app registration first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
I detect smart aleckiness with that response there. Okay.
So in here now, we need to be able to authenticate the front end, the user in the front end, and acquire a token so we can call our hub.
Okay.
Therefore, we need a new app registration. Go into app registrations. Yep. And then name it .NET Chat Client, I guess.
Yeah.
Following that pattern.
And I would do that.
Yeah. And then .NET Chat. Now important, the app registration will be very different to registering an app, right?
Right.
So in here, don't put anything in the redirect URI, just press register.
Cool. Oh, sorry. There we go.
And then in the, now we need to go into the authentication. Authentication. Second from the manage, there you go. And now we need to add a platform. So click on the add platform. At the very top, there's a nice cross and it says add platform.
This one?
Yes, and we need a mobile desktop. That's absolutely right.
Perfect.
And then I would select the MSAL. I mean, you can choose whichever one you want. Let's go with a common. Let's. I think, click on all of them. It's fine. I think that the first one and the last one are probably the more appropriate because we're not using the live SDK, right?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Man, the live SDK.
This is MSAL only. Right? We don't want this one because that's MSAL only, right?
Yeah, okay, take it out. I think we're gonna use the default is the top one. So that's it, and then press what's at the bottom? You're hiding the bottom. No, nothing there.
Oh, you can't say. Oh, I was looking at your screen. Configure.
Yeah, that's it.
Ooh.
And then next one, we need to add API permissions, right? So if you go into the API permissions, that's it. So API permissions. And in here, you want to add the permission Go to My APIs at the very top right-hand side. Yep. Click on this one. And then click on the chat. There you go. And then add permissions.
Get out.
So now this app can go and acquire tokens for that specific solution.
Cool. Okay. That's good. All right. So now I'll probably need to go back to overview because I'm going to have to copy some stuff out.
Yeah,
I need a secret,
eventually. Yes, we'll need to do that.
Okay.
That's absolutely right.
Okay. And to do that, I would go token certificates and secrets. And I would do new client secret here.
No, you don't need secrets. Let me see what I have an example here. I don't think we require a secret in the configuration because you're going to be signing as yourself, although we might need it for the acquiring the token. So just looking at the example that I have in front of me. Leave that for now. Okay. Leave that for now.
Okay.
And then we need to go back to the app.
I'll go back to the app.
Code. Yeah.
Oh. Okay. And I'll open
And
up
we need to add the Microsoft Identity.client library. That's the MSA library, right?
Oh, I did that here.
Oh, you've already done it? Nice.
Yeah.
You're one step ahead of me. Okay, so now in the code, there's a little bit of code here. So there's a configuration that we need to add.
All right.
And I don't know, do we want to brute force it and maybe put all the settings inside the console, or do we want to create an app settings and pull it from there?
We can brute force it for now, and I'll do other stuff later.
Yeah. Okay. So that's probably gonna be easier. So let's see.
Blazer, Mr. Magoo, he makes a comment about how many different options Azure AD has, and in a lot of cases, folks don't need all of them. That's true, but it's amazing how many folks do. There's all those different features out there. Like you've got MSI for the different backend security stuff. This is really all I ever use it for. I do not a lot, but some Power Apps dev. And the nice thing about Power Apps is it'll actually authenticate for you, and get your token and always flow your token back to the other APIs that it calls. So if you are building some sort of a custom connector or a custom API, you can let Power Apps do your auth and things just work. You know what I mean? So you would go through the same sort of a flow to kind of create everything. Oh, sorry. That did not work. There.
Okay. So first we need to, let me see. First we need to add the looking at what the best. So I mean, we can choose between. We can use the public client authentication builder. I think that will probably be the best way. Therefore, we're not going to use default credentials here. We're not going to use the credential flow. We're going to go with an interactive authentication, which is not really standard practice for console apps, considering that consoles apps are daemons and they're supposed to be running non-interactively. But here we're going to fake it a little bit. So, so for that to work, we want to, so we added the MSA library, and now we need to build a public client. So, so I would say let's create a private. So that's the chat client, right? Is the chat client called from program, or is everything happening here?
Chat client is called from program.
So I think in program, we need to configure that so we can acquire the token and then pass it into the chat client, correct?
You think so?
So,
I mean,
yeah,
this is essentially like a wrapper class around the behavior that I need to reach out to the SignalR endpoint.
Yeah,
So
but we don't want to, like, before you even connect, you need to authenticate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that needs to happen outside the chat client because the chat client will be probably late, right?
Because I'm not going to authenticate when I reach out to, I'm going to make the authentication call to Azure, get all my stuff, and then I'm going to use that stuff as I make a connection to my SignalR hub.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think
it's not the SignalR hub's job to authenticate me. I'm not going to put.
Correct. The SignalR hub will only take a token and say, well, is this a valid token? Is it for the right scope? Is it for me? Has it expired? Is it from the right authority? And then as long as it validates and everything is good, then it has the right scope, then it's like, okay, now you can connect and do whatever. So in order for us to do that, we need first to, so the console app starts, the first thing we need to do is it's actually authenticate the user, right? And go and acquire the token. So so we need an iPublic client application app at somewhere in the program. I would say let's do it in the main.
Okay.
Yeah. So iPublic client application.
Public. Okay.
App equals public client application builder.
Yep.
And I would .create, and then we'll need to pass a client ID there. So for now, just leave it like that. Or pass the client ID there.
Yeah, sorry to be lazy.
A couple of. That's the one.
We're just brute forcing it here.
Yep. Yeah. Please don't do this at home, kids. And then with default redirect URI. You can also pass the authority, but for now, you know what? Before that, after that. So you don't need to pass anything in there, just with default redirect URI.
Okay.
No quotes, just empty.
Oh.
Open close bracket. Yeah. Okay. And then dot with authority. With authority, the top one. Yep. And then inside there, Azure AAD authority.audience.azure multiple orgs. I think it's an enum.
Oh.
AAD. What are the Azure AD multiple orgs.
Okay.
So I think that's the multi-tenancy, right?
Yes.
And then .build at the end.
Not async, right? I haven't made my main async yet, but I
don't think this needs to be async.
What?
For now.
It doesn't? Okay.
Nope.
Good.
So this one should be all we need.
And this will make the client app like reach out and auth?
Yes, and then we need to actually acquire a token.
Right.
So next I would say authentication result or space result. So create a new variable called authentication result. No, just not equals. No. Just that. Then next line, var accounts equals. It's fine.
All right.
So var accounts equals await app. Yeah, we'll need to change it to async now. Yeah. App dot get accounts async.
All of them. Okay.
So open close bracket. That's it. And then let's change our static void main to static async task, right? Sweet. And now on line 20, let's do a try catch block.
trackers. Okay.
And I don't know if I'll be able to paste this into the chat, but rather than me acquire token. So let me see. I will paste it into the chat.
You can also Teams it to me if we need to.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes. Damn, I forgot about that.
It's okay.
There's also Teams. We can chat about in Teams. Right? Okay, let me ping it on Teams. I think it will be easier. Do you have any questions while I do that? Brady.
Let me look. No. I do need to at 9:30. I apologize.
It's fine. I mean, if we don't finish today, we will definitely be able to do it later.
Oh, yeah,
so
do it again.
I've sent it to you.
Okay, I see it.
The formatting is awful, obviously.
That's okay. I'll do that in a try.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole try catch block, right?
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah.
And we do this.
And one thing that we haven't done so far is define the scopes. So,
okay,
I'll shift F. There you go.
I definitely think it would behoove like me who've done this a total of this time if we like kind of walk through and talk about what everything is doing.
Yeah, let's do this.
That'd be helpful. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So so what we do now is first we define the MSAL configurations of the public client. And we are using a public client, so it's not a confidential client because it is a console app, so everybody can go and reverse engineer that. When it is running unattended, when it's a daemon app, we usually do client credential flow, and we prefer to use a certificate instead of a secret, so we don't put the secret in here.
Right.
It's not ideal, it's not perfect, but it's the way it works for now. If you need to use a secret and you're gun-ho on that, then I would say combining your console app with Key Vault and then using a managed identity to go and grab your MSAL client secret from Key Vault will probably work better.
Okay.
So you don't have any secrets there.
Right.
But for now, we have a public client. So we say, this is not a trusted application. Everybody can reverse engineer this and get it. And then we define the authority as a multi-tenanted app. Okay. So that knows which endpoint to go and hit. And then in the accounts, this is where it's going to go and authenticate you.
Got it.
Next, we say we want to go and get a token for our scope. So we haven't defined the scopes. You might want, on line 21, you might want to create a new string array or a string list and pass the scope there. Like a string, colon, open, close, square bracket. Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect. In there, we said chat, right?
Yeah.
And you have multiple scopes there.
So I don't have to use the API colon GUID thing. I can just actually use the pretty name.
Yes, that's a good question. You may need to use the full. Okay. You know what? Yeah, let's go back into the app registration because I think you need to use the full qualified domain of the API.
Terms.
Yeah. So in the API permissions, stay there. API permissions. And in API permissions, click on the chat. And I will open another window. Boop. And then grab the whole thing and put it there. There. Oh. Perfect. That was a good catch. And what we're doing here now is we say, you know what? We have we need to go and acquire a token for our API, i.e. our SignalR hub. We'll try to do it silently. Now, it's important here, it will fail, and it will always fail because we don't have a cache to cast things, right? So in effect, every time you run the console app, it will try to go and acquire the token silently. It would fail, which is expected. And because it cannot do it silently, it will go and interactively prompt you to authenticate, accept the scopes the first time, and acquire the token. This is very different to the traditional console apps because most console apps, again, will not have an interactivity in there. So this is, expecting a user to be there to consent and acquire the token.
Okay, right? Cool. That makes sense.
So client credentials would always do acquire token for app, and then therefore there will be no interactivity, just straight in.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So technically, this is all we need. So if we try to run the console app in isolation, it should actually prompt us for authentication.
So I don't need to do any secrets. I don't need to do any certs. This will quote unquote just work. I thought I would need something like because Explain to me why I don't need that. Is it because I'm going to basically do an authentication? It'll auth me, and that ends up being the secret. I'm just trying to make sure I understand how the client
Yeah,
can
because
authenticate.
the flow that we're using is not the client credential flow, and therefore you don't need the secret at this point.
Okay. Need to understand this better. So, okay. So what I'll do now is basically run the web.
Mm-hmm. No, don't run the web yet. I want to run the console and make sure that we can at least authenticate and get the right things there.
Oh yeah, because if we're not talking to the back end yet.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Let's get one step at a time, baby steps.
Got it.
That's my approach anyway.
I like it. It's good. .NET. Let me do it like this. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm not gonna make anything complicated. I don't want like the VS code command thing to, for whatever strange reason to get in the way. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. So are you running in a different console?
Right. Just a basic.
Okay. Perfect.
And then CD source.
You're not using Windows Terminal? I am disappointed now.
I'm in a Mac, dude.
Oh, you're in a Mac.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yes.
I mean, I could be in the Windows.
I totally missed that. It's impressive.
I'd be using Visual Studio if I was on Windows.
Just sip it. It's Friday, says Dukesoft. You're absolutely right. Oh God, we got Cesar Fridge is here apparently.
Who?
The whole gang is here. Yeah. All our friends are on the Microsoft Developer channel. Remember, we multi-stream, my friends.
Did you see that? Okay.
I saw that. Yeah.
No way.
Right. Let's sign in with the right account.
Let me move this over here.
Are you in the right tenant, and do you have the right tenant information?
As far as I know, it says I can't sign in with a personal account. Use your work or school account. Okay.
You need to use a work or school account. It's Azure AD.
Okay. I don't know if I have an account over there, so let me go do that. I don't know if I have a tenant account. So explain that to everybody. Like I have to use a work or school account, which means I would have to go into my users of my.
Well, you should be able to use your Microsoft account. It's a multi-tenanted app, right?
True. Okay, let me
give that a go.
Let me cancel this. That was my other browser. So let me open up the right browser. I use browser profiles for that. Sir.
Nice. Look at you.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the console app will prompt you in the right. Will it prompt you in the right browser profile?
Right. It will. But I don't want you to see any of this stuff.
No.
You move that out of the way.
Don't dox yourself, please.
I'm not going to dox myself. Come on. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me close that down. Now what I'll do is hopefully it'll pop up in this browser. I'm going to go over here and do Control C, and we'll do that again. Now what you're saying is since I made it multi-tenant, this browser hopefully will catch the request.
Hopefully.
There we go. That's going to bounce me over there. I will do a login. Oh, this is that's an admin tenancy problem. I'm not an admin in the Microsoft. Okay. So let me do this. Let me actually create somebody. We'll call it. I'll create a new user. Do I have to give the user any kind of special accounts or anything?
No.
I'll call it chat user at bradytests.onmicrosoft.com. Block sign in. No. Don't need job title. Don't need location. I'm probably going to need a name. Chat user. Everybody, what I'm doing over here. Some of my user account stuff. Expand this.
You may be prompted for a password reset the first time, but let's see if it prompts you for that.
So I'll do that. Let me go into here and get my new users. I'm noticing this will just continue to run. Maybe in a subsequent show, we'll do something where after a certain amount of time, it'll stop waiting for me. I don't know if that's possible or not. Let me go over here. So profile, reset password. This may be, says the password cannot be reset. This may be due to an incorrect level of administrative privilege or if trying to reset your own password. Do you see that?
Did it prompt you to reset it?
No, I was just going to. So this is my new chat user.
Yep.
You reset password.
Maybe using the correct level of administrative privilege. Is this your own test tenant?
Yes.
And are you using the Microsoft 365 developer tenant?
No. I'm using. This has been around for a long time.
And are you a full admin in there?
Yeah, it's mine.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So can you try to sign in at least without user, or did not even give you a password?
It didn't give me a password at all. There's no password listed or anything.
That's super weird. What other accounts do you have there?
Pardon me?
What other accounts do you have there?
Let me go here, users.
Users, yeah. That's the external one, customer account. Can you use the customer account? Is that working? Do you know the password for that?
I can get it. Hang on a second. Let me try this. Reset password. There we go. I use the customer account. That's perfect.
That's interesting.
Copy. Okay. Now I'll do this again. Okay, and now it has opened me up here. And I would just say, do this, customer at. I'm going to have to do my password. I'll move this over here. Hit paste, sign in, current password, and I'll call it.
C#Frit says, I don't build wrapper classes, I build bitboxing classes.
Oh,
why not?
That's cool.
Nice.
And now I've got this.
I don't see what this is. Let me see. Oh, yes. So this is now your consent, right? It says this application is trying to acquire a token for what's the the first one is ability to chat, right? So remember, that's our permission for the API that we configure. The other one,
ability to chat, they use the system.
Yeah, and the other one is just standard OIDC permissions. So
cool.
Accept.
So I hit accept.
Oh, what did it say? Can you zoom in? The reply URL qualified does not match the reply URL configured in the application. Interesting. So we may want to copy the reply URL from the client app and remove the default. Well, you know what? Because we're using MSAL, so go back to the client application.
In the code or the client application?
In the client application in Azure AD.
Okay, app registration.
Yeah. So in your client, in your authentication.
There you are.
Yeah. Uncheck the first one and check the last one. And press save. Let's try to sign in again now.
Okay. Hold on. Do this. Cancel that. So what happens? There we go. This is going to be the customer account since I'm logged in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What did they say? Is the reply URL again?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Interesting.
We may have to pass the reply URL explicitly to the to the app.
Okay.
That's weird. So copy that.
Copy what?
Copy the reply URL. Yeah.
Okay.
Although, yeah, I don't know what it will put there. And then in the code, remove with the default reply URL. Although that's a bit weird. I wonder if it was a timing issue and took a little bit of time to instead of the with default reply URL on line 16.
Okay. This one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you need to use the with redirect URI when you do interactively. Yeah, so that was me. And then, yeah, that should be it. Okay. So save and run.
Okay. Open up the right browser. There we go.
Oh. Only what? What? Only loopback URI is supported, but MSAL auth was found. configure HTTP localhost. Okay, let's use localhost.
Okay. So do you add URI here?
Yeah, add URI, HTTP localhost. Oh, well, that's a bit weird though. I wouldn't expect that to be the case.
Like this?
No, just localhost. There, and then save that, and then uncheck the MSAL one. And then no HTTP. You don't know. You just put HTTP there, not HTTPS. Yeah.
Okay.
And then in the app, in the client code, we need to change that to localhost.
Like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again?
Let's see what happens.
Pardon me.
At least there was no error message to begin with, so we're making progress. We're cooking. Oh, there you are.
Get out.
I mean, it's not gonna work. Oh, you're connect. Okay. Mm-hmm. But the API is not running. Remember? Oh, you're starting it. Will we make it with 8 minutes to spare? Let's see.
Now, I don't have anything in there like bouncing back my username or anything like that.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
But, you know, if there is an authentication issue, we'll fail with unable to connect, right? Or we get an error message back. Oh. What did it say? One or more errors occurred. Oh, it's unauthorized. Interesting.
Okay.
Why? That is very interesting.
You think it is, and this is something that you and I've looked at in a different conversation, but will remain nameless at this point. But do you think it is the fact that I need to change this?
No, that should be the API should have the token will have a scope, a SCP value of chat. Is that the right? Okay. That's the right one, right? That's the right permission.
Pretty sure that's the right one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought it would be the where'd it go? This one, this whole string.
No, that should be right. I mean, that's the expected scope.
Got it. Yeah, it's weird.
It
do you think it should be? Do you think I should add the port here? Do you localhost 5001?
No. There's no port. That's your local loopback to get the token back. So the API now is saying 401, almost as if you know what? I know why. Because we're not passing the freaking token in there. Duh. Right. Okay. I was like, yeah, why is it? Okay, so in this code here now, we need to, so go back into your code. So in here, in the result will have an access token. So if you go on line 33 and say var access token equals result.access token.
Where do I do that? Oh, like right here?
Line 33, I would say. No, line 33, right? After we finish with the token acquisition.
Oh, right here.
Results should not be null. So line 33, we could do, if result is not null, then get me the access token, right?
All right. What I would do up here is essentially say, I need to create an access token.
Yeah, it's a string. So, there. Mm-hmm.
And right here.
Uh-huh. Almost there. We can do this, BST guy. You're absolutely right.
Like that?
Let me see. Where are we? Yep. That's it. Now,
and essentially, I would need to pass that down here.
That is correct. Yes.
So I need to have kind of a property on my class or something higher level. So let me just do. Let me do this. This is all kind of lame, but we're just hacking here.
It's okay. Go, says Dukasoft. We're doing our best. I don't know if we're going to be able to wrap it up in 5 minutes, but we will do our best.
I think we'll get it.
We'll get it. There you go.
Not a hard stop. It's with a mutual friend of ours who I'll just tell him you were holding me late and he'll be okay.
I'll take the blame. That's absolutely fine. Why not?
So I'll do access token here. And again, this is going to be kind of lame. We'll do string access token. See if that's an important message.
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay. And then so that's my access token. And where would I add this in my connection builder? I wonder.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
How do we send it to the hub?
How do we send it to the hub? I would need to basically add some sort of a header, I would presume.
Yes. But does it accept headers?
I think it does. On the auth, it should. Let me look at this. This is the reason I wanted to do this. Was I've not done this kind of thing yet. So let's see here. I wonder if it'd be on start. No, I don't think it's on start. No, it's not going to be on start. Yeah, we might have to do a little bit more hacking on this and then talk about it a little bit more next time.
Yeah.
But I would need to basically attach my bearer token here, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So yeah, that would be something we would probably need to discuss a little bit more. Connection dot handshake timeout. No.
So the question is, where do we attach it? How do we send it?
Yeah. That I don't know right off the top of my head. I have to admit, I'm trying to find it there. But if we don't get to it for the thing else, that's the end.
Well, I'm looking at the docs here. Let me very quickly see if there's a.
Oh, I see now.
Endpoint.
Rob's helping me in the chat with URL. It's here. I have options. There we go.
There you go.
So yeah, access token factory. Going to copy their notes. This looks very, very similar to like the JavaScript method of doing it. Access token. Is that right?
That should be it.
Do I need to return here? I bet.
Oh, it says, you know what? It's options. So right after the chat is options, then arrow.
After the chat, where?
Yeah, so you don't need you don't need open bracket. So remove the opening bracket on line 20.
Okay.
Remove the opening bracket there. So options, comma options. Inside the right after chat, comma options.
This is my URL right here.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's okay. So comma options. There you go. Robo just pasted. I'm looking at the docs right now.
Okay.
That's exactly what I want you to do.
IntelliSense is messing.
Sorry, is our call with Adrian?
Yeah.
And we're both on that call? Okay,
Oh,
I'll
yeah?
tell him that we'll be there in a bit.
Oh, cool. Good.
We're on the same call. There you go.
Access token provider.
Yep.
Thank you. Reminding me that I have no ability to code anymore. And then we would do access token. Like that. And we should be. Is that it?
We should be golden.
It? No. This will be so beautiful. So this.
Right.
Do I need to? I don't need to change this. This is so cool. I haven't changed anything on the hub yet, have I? No.
But you don't need to change anything in the hub. That's fine. Stays as it is.
Okay, let me clear this out.
I am dying with anticipation.
What? Oh, I see. Wait.
You never let us down. Well, we had our fair share of failures, so trust me.
Yeah. So what I want to do now is basically call where's connect, handle command.
Nice.
Is that right? Command, handle command. Did I do that wrong?
That's it.
Oh, I know. I gotta do it like this. Command. String.
Okay. Oh, nice.
You know what I'm doing?
Okay.
So back to what I was doing. I got the access token. Again, we'll figure out a not cruddy way to do this. When I handle my command, I'm going to pass my access token.
Yep.
That goes to the command.
Nice.
Passes my access token into the chat client's connect, which is right here. And then we're using, let me see who this is, Rob again. Thank you. And then I've got this thing here, and we'll go back here. This is weird. Y'all single-handedly made me not afraid of doing this in public again. This is great. .NET run.
It's fun.
Now, would I still be auth, or do I have to re-auth?
You might have to re-auth on this one.
Okay.
Remember, we don't have a cache for the tokens, right?
Right. It's prompting me, and now I'll do connect. We're done. That worked. No errors.
Dun, 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 dun.
We're all good.
So we're connected, right?
We're totally connected. Yeah. I didn't put any code in my on connected async handler. I didn't add a handler for that. But we saw that we just made a connection. We didn't get the error this time. This is great. Like, I can commit this and take out the secrets and stuff, and then y'all.
Yes. Well, there's no secrets, dude. There's no secrets.
That's cool. There's no secrets.
There's no secrets. It's
That's
working.
super cool. That's
yeah, it is great. Now there are some caveats that we need to let people know about that, right? So there's no caching right now for the tokens. I never stop believing you, dude. You're so good. You're so BSD guy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will publish the repo URL. Do you have the repo URL handy? I mean, we'll definitely put it on the GitHub repo.
I'll do it right now. If you go to, it should be pretty easy. It's my GitHub, Brady Gaster.net chat.
Ship it. It's ready to ship it. Exactly. It's productionized. We just need CI/CD, and then we'll sell it.
Exactly.
Put the license in this baby.
Beautiful. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this is I want to try to make this like into something more real, because I've been asked about JOT token authentication with SignalR more times than I can count. We've got some stuff.
I hear a blog post coming. I hear a blog post.
Yeah. They'll definitely look at. No, not a blog post. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to update the docs. I'm going to use this to update the docs, so we can actually have something where we can actually show folks how to use Microsoft Identity Client to get your authentication token, and then use Microsoft Identity Web to authenticate you on the server side, or authorize you rather on the server side, and then we can kind of figure out how to go. So we'll have to do this in the show too eventually, but I'll get the code committed right away. I'm a little OCD, so I'll probably take all my configuration out first. So just forgive me for that, y'all.
Please do.
Yeah. This is cool.
Nice.
Thanks a lot, everybody. That's cool.
Hey, man, thanks for coming. That was fun building it together, right? What is the URL for the blog? Well, the blog is 425, so /blog, or dev.to /. So if I actually put in the chat, you know where to find our blog, Sahil. You've read all our blogs.
Yep.
Blog.
Now, if you're thinking about the ASP.NET team blog, that's devblogs.microsoft.com /ASP.NET. I'll bring right over here. And you'll want to take a look at it today.
People are asking whether you have your own. Do you have your own blog that you blog about these things, or should we go to the .NET blog and find it there? What do you think?
I'll blog about this because I haven't blogged in a long time. But I'll blog about this because I have a blog built on top of Blazor. So you can actually go in, and most of the blogs that I write are actually about my blog engine. So
nice.
That's kind of lame. But I'd love to do a post on this. My blog engine's called Downer because it's Markdown based. So
I remember you building that one and pulling me into the
I got
always fun projects with Brady. He never disappoints.
Yeah. Oh, the last project we worked on together, it's kind of fun. I'll show you this. This is how Christos and I met, was when he insisted on helping me out with the Azure Tools VS Code. And I think he wrote the ARM export and batch. Yeah.
Yes.
So, it was fun.
Me and Brady single-handedly kicked off all the VS Code Azure extensions that you love and use today.
Well, we did the first one, and then they were like, "This is cool."
But what are you talking about? We had storage, we had Key Vault, we had web apps. We did all the cool stuff.
It was fun.
Yes.
Yeah. We did a bunch of fun stuff with that one. But I'll tell you what, the team has really done a great job of making those experiences a heck of a lot better. I've got all those extensions installed over here. I'll go over here to the Azure tab. We didn't come anywhere near this with our stuff. Our stuff is all, task based and stuff.
But we had the idea. We were the first people to crack this, but the team has really done an awesome job.
Yeah, I think they have I think they call that disrupting, but that's
we have a different team in my name. It's called Accelerators. So
exactly.
Accelerator. Let's accelerate. Anyway, Brady, really thank you for coming on the stream today. It was a lot of fun building this and getting it. We will definitely put it on our GitHub repo. There will be links on our YouTube channel. So if you're watching it on YouTube later, then make sure to follow the links and see what the code is doing and what we did. And it was so much fun. We might get Brady back to do even more stuff later.
It'll be fun.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you on Tuesday. Have a lovely weekend. And I want to thank Brady again.
Thanks a lot.
And let's see if we can raid someone. Who should we raid today? Who's live today? We got our friend Instafluff and Tal Codes. So let's go to Tal Codes, I would say, because she's awesome. Tal Codes. Well, thank you all. Start raid.
Who are you sending them to?
Tal Codes.
Oh, cool.
I think I'm pronouncing the name right.
That's cool.
Okay.
Groovy. Hey, thanks for having me on and teaching me this. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so this is great. Now I have it recorded, so when the next time I forget it, which will be like tomorrow, I'll just start doing it again. It's great.
You know it, man. You know it.
It's like reading your own blog post, but you have to listen to your own voice, which is never fun. So.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I mean, not your voice, my voice.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it weird to listen to my voice, but I'm getting to peace with it after watching so much video of me doing stuff.
It's like a Scottish Creek accent.
I always appreciate you, Brady. I appreciate you so much, man.
Oh man.
Right.
Those are awesome.
Well, the raid is almost done. Let me do this, and then we're off the channel. Right. It's done. We're off. Let's see. And